What's up, Ramley? You are now in the kitchen with Chef Nixon for all your fixings for the latest and greatest of VCU men's basketball. So, VCU at St. Bonnie's, huge conference game. How did it go? Let's get into it. All right, St. Bonnie's is coming into the game off a surprisingly competitive overtime win against LaSalle, whom VCU played recently and thumped them at their house. But in a sense, they could have been looking forward to the VCU game and presenting a classic trap game for them. And in a sense, VCU had to deal with the same thing. They returned to the court after a lopsided win over George Washington, which was a trap game in its own right. Again, I always think George Washington is weird because they have so much talent, but they just can't put it together. So this is going to be somewhat of a measuring stick for VCU to gauge himself against the top talent in the A-10. Of course, we play some talented teams like your UConns and your Baylors already. But it's different when it's in conference play because people are more used to playing you. They're familiar with your style. They know your plays. So when you play in the conference, that's why most conference games, no matter if the ranking is number one versus the bottom or if it's number one versus two, depending on the day, it may be a very competitive game because the teams are so familiar with each other. So we got a chance to measure ourselves and to see how well we match up with St Bonaventure, who's at the top of the league right now. So you can tell from the beginning of the game that this was going to be a competitive game. St. Bonnie's is a very unique team and very special team. They won an A-10 championship last year, and now they have all five of their stars back this year, which is really, most teams to win with all juniors is special. You know what I mean? And to come back, is going to be more than likely you guys are going to win again. That's just what people think. And another special thing about Bonnie's is they only play like 7 players. And for real, the other 2 players really only play if somebody gets in foul trouble or is extremely tired. It's very unique to see a team with that little depth play as well as they do. They do it day in and day out. And I guess to this point now, they're just probably used to it. And especially playing with VCU, you would think our pressure and our aggressiveness on defense would have an impact on them down the stretch, just because they only have 5 players. But I don't think that's how exactly it went. Because we're known for our disruptive defense and our emerging offense led by Ace Baldwin. But unfortunately, I don't think that was who played St. Bonaventure this night. So the first half was wildly entertaining, very competitive. But I noticed very quickly the championship caliber of St. Bonaventure, because any mistake you made, they made you pay for, whether that be offensively or defensively. Defensively, if you're getting out of position or you're overhelping or bad closeout, it was going to be a bucket, right? Offensively, bad decisions, turnovers, they're going to be a bucket. And I seen that from the get-go. And with that, somehow we found ourselves down somehow we found ourselves down double digits. But we fought back. We had an opportunity to either tie the game at half or go down by 2 points. But somehow, some way, we ended up going into the half down 6. And I don't know. I can't say that because it's still another half to play, but I think that was kind of deflating for VCU, regardless, because they had so many opportunities to take the lead and change momentum. But going in the half, it was just all the momentum we had from fighting back was just stripped away from us. And it wasn't like we necessarily played super or really bad. We didn't play really bad. But when you're playing a really good and disciplined team such as St Bonaventure, you're going to have to bring your A game. And I can say, and I'm pretty sure all the VCU fans out there can say, this was not VCU's best game. It's because the second half was just an absolute mental breakdown. I have to go ahead and say it. This was not Ace Baldwin's best game. I felt as if he was forcing the action more than he usually does. I felt like he tried to do too much, hit home run plays. And home run plays are good when they go in. But if you miss a home run play, and for instance, for those who don't know what a home run play is, it's basically, for lack of better words, trying to get a 10-point deficit back in one play. Or there's a simple play to make, but you go for the highlight play. Those are kind of examples of what a home run play is. And I feel like Ace was pressing too much throughout this game. I felt as if he didn't play his usual control game. He didn't grab the bull by the horns. He was more so being, I don't know, it was odd. It was like he had something to prove, but I felt as if he went about it the wrong way. And, you know, with the biggest thing with having Ace on the team from when he wasn't on the team was the fact that he was the leader and of the offense. You know, the defense we already kind of had without him. Of course, having him helps, but his impact was really felt on the offensive end. And him being the leader of the team, him and Vince, and him getting away from how he usually played, I think really impacted the rest of the team. Let's see. No, let's go. All stats. So yeah, Ace had 5 assists but 4 turnovers, and 4 turnovers plus bad shots, a bad shot selection, or forcing an issue when nothing's there. That assisted St Bonaventure of controlling the game. Now, it's not. Of course, I'm not sitting here trying to blame Ace for everything. That was a key component. I felt as if the whole team was pressing. You know what I mean? Sahones had a pretty good game, putting in 14 points coming off the bench. But Ace had 12, 4, and 3, but it just wasn't the same impactful play as he usually does. And one thing I will say about this, and I've seen Coach Rose turn around to the bench and like try to get them to be a little bit more enthusiastic even when things aren't going VCU's way. And I've seen him do that at home games. But there's an importance to that when you go on an away game, because when you're at an away game, more than likely, you guys are going to be your only fans. No pun intended. You're going to be the only fans going for VCU. So you're going to have to bring energy. And I feel like at times we had lulls in our energy. If things weren't going well, we had nobody cheering us on. We had nobody bigging us up. And that's one thing I think that we can improve on for the guys who aren't in the game, is bigging up the players after a turnover, making sure that they can turn to the next page and have a short-term memory. When things are going good, of course we cheer, but when things are going bad, we have to cheer just as hard to make sure that, our confidence level can stay up. So St Bonaventure out-rapped. First off, they took us out of our style of play. I felt like VCU didn't play to their identity. I felt like the offense wasn't going well, which impacted how we played defense, and that is a recipe for disaster. St Bonaventure out-rebounded us by 10. They forced us into 13 turnovers and only committed 11, and that's not necessarily how VCU plays. We usually are the ones that are the aggressors on defense and force people into more turnovers than we commit. And that's kind of been our recipe. And we only went to the free throw line 10 times, and they went to the free throw line 27 times, or they had 27 attempts. And for this particular game, I can't remember the game it was, but it was the Dayton game, where we only went to the free throw line for 2 shots. I felt that was lopsided and some home cooking, if you ask me. The refs did a really poor job of blowing the whistle for VCU that game. And if you go back and watch, that was such a dogfight. There was no way that VCU should have walked out of there with only 2 free throws. However, this game, there's a reason there was a lopsided in the free throw count, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But all that led to us being thumped by 20 points, with a final score of 73-53. I know VCU can't wait to turn the page on this if they haven't already. I hope this doesn't take a chunk of our confidence. St. Bonaventure is a really good team. We didn't play our best game of basketball. We came out kind of flat. We didn't execute the way we were supposed to, and we got away from what makes us good. So there's that. Stat leaders, VCU. Dennis Williams had 12 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. Mr. Do-It-All, who was all over the place again, or his numbers were all over the place again. Marcus Sahones chipped in 14 points and had 2 rebounds. That's it for St. Bonnie's. We had Attaway had 25 points and 8 rebounds. And I tell you, we had him looking like Kawhi Leonard out there. The kid was getting anything he wanted, anytime he wanted, going back down the court talking. We just had no answer for him the whole night. And Holmes chipped in 17 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. I think both of these guys had a very big impact on the game. If you look at points alone, they put up, 37? But I don't think they were the key to the game. I think they played very well. They scored. They hit open shots, hit some contested ones. But I think the key player to the game, or in this case, the low-key player of the game, was Osuni. And that is St. Bonaventure's starting big. Now, I don't know if everybody knows. He's a 6'10", 220-pound kid out of New Jersey. I don't know if anybody noticed this, but he impacted the game on the offensive end by just being around the rim, and he impacted the defensive game by just being around the rim. So let's dive into that a little bit more. Osuni, what did he finish the game with? He had, let me see. He had 9 points, 7 rebounds, and I want to say 4 blocks. And that 4 blocks doesn't really tell the story of the game. If we go back and watch film of this game and we look at the times we attacked when Asani was at the rim, a lot of the times we came in there off balance, shying away from contact, shying away from him challenging the shot. Shooting shots we don't practice because we were scared of getting the shot blocked. Just playing timid when it came to attacking the rim, if you ask me. And I think that's all due to Asani. Asani, like I said, he can really block shots. But as an offensive player, you can't let him deter you from going to the rim. I know that's easier said than done. However, with St Bonaventure and how they play and who they play and how much they only play certain guys, you have to attack all the time. Like, the best way to beat a shot blocker is, 1, driving hard, pump fake, getting them into the air, then drawing the foul, or 2, attacking him in the center of his chest and removing his height and finishing high off the glass. Both things we're capable of doing. Both things we did not do. So I think that he had, even though other people were scoring, I think he had the biggest impact on the game for St Bonaventure. And I think he's one of the only, I think he's might be the only big that will play that's going to have that type of ability. But that is something that we're going to have to get used to, because we're going to see St. Bonaventure again. I know they may not be on the schedule for us to play again. Let me make sure that actually they might be. Let's see. VCU. No, so we don't play them again. But if we plan on winning the conference and get into the conference tournament, get into the conference tournament championship, we're definitely going to see them again. So we gotta be prepared for that, because we can't allow him, one, to just stay on the court and just feel like he can just block shots from a distance. You gotta put the pressure on the referees. You got to. You can't get out rebounded, turn the ball over more, and shoot less free throws at St. Bonaventure and think you're gonna win the game. It's just not gonna happen. You gotta put the pressure on the referees. You gotta put the pressure on the guards. Like I said, they only go 7 players deep, but you're gonna have to bring your A game to beat them. So moving forward, VCU has no time, and I do mean no time at all, to hang their heads or power about anything, because this is a stretch in which we're going to play the best teams in the league. And coming up, we have Davidson, who is just as much of a challenge as St. Bonaventure. The only difference is, I don't think their defense is going to be as aggressive, like one-on-one type of stuff, but I think they do like a little matchup zone. So it's going to be important that we execute our offense clean and precisely. And defensively, they're going to be very similar to Campbell. And if you remember back to the Campbell game, we struggled a little bit on guarding their action. And their action is going to be almost identical, except they're going to have more offensive threats than Campbell did. So this is another game with another top team in the A-10. VCU has another chance to redeem themselves and prove themselves that they belong in the top 4, in a conversation with the top 4 teams in the A-10. So I'm excited to see how they'll move forward. They got to use this loss as motivation to bounce back, but also have a short-term memory of how they played so they don't get lost in the sauce. So, again, rambling. Put your seatbelt on, get ready for the ride. We're going to have ups and downs. Please keep your arms in the roller coaster as it's moving. Until next time, peace.